Commander Zexthak stared at the holographic display with mounting frustration. The three-dimensional map flickered with quantum uncertainties, its molecular-level precision somehow failing to guide them through the treacherous canyon system of Kepler 442c. For the third time in 2 solar cycles, the Galactic Coalition's most advanced navigation system had led their rescue team into a dead end. "Impossible," muttered Dr. Yelvana, her tentacles dancing nervously over the quantum processors. "The map accounts for gravitational distortions, temporal flux variations, and subatomic particle interference patterns. It should be perfect." The human member of their team, Lieutenant Marcus Chen, sat quietly against a boulder, chewing on what appeared to be a processed nutrition bar. His primitive bipedal form looked almost comical next to the sleek, technologically enhanced bodies of his alien companions. The rescue mission to find the crash survey vessel had turned into a navigation nightmare, and time was running out for the survivors trapped somewhere in this maze of red stone. "Perhaps we should return to the ship and recalibrate the quantum matrices," suggested Engineer Tolvar, his crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the harsh alien sun. "The mineral deposits here might be interfering with our temporal mapping algorithms." Marcus finished his nutrition bar and stood up, brushing crumbs from his standard-issue uniform. "Mind if I take a look at where we're trying to go?" "Commander." Zexthak's 4 eyes rotated toward the human with barely concealed irritation. Humans had only joined the Galactic Coalition 50 standard years ago, and their primitive technology still baffled more advanced civilizations. "Lieutenant Chen, our navigation system processes 17 billion variables per nanosecond. It incorporates data from gravitational wave detectors, quantum entanglement sensors, and probability cascade analyzers. I doubt your perspective would be helpful." Marcus shrugged. A peculiarly human gesture that the aliens had learned indicated either indifference or stubborn determination. "Fair enough. But while you're recalibrating, do you mind if I try something?" Without waiting for permission, Marcus walked to a patch of loose dirt near their current position. He knelt down and began drawing lines with his finger, creating a crude 2-dimensional representation in the red dust. The aliens watched with a mixture of curiosity and condescension as he sketched wavy lines, marked elevation changes with simple symbols, and indicated their path with a dotted line. "This canyon curves east here," Marcus muttered more to himself than to the others. "We came from the north, hit that cliff face. But look," he pointed to his dirt drawing. "The shadow patterns we passed earlier suggest there's a gap we missed. Right. Here." He drew an X in the dirt, then looked up at the towering canyon walls around them. His eyes tracked the position of the alien sun, noted the way shadows fell across the rock faces, and observed how the wind carried sound differently from various directions. Dr. Yelvana's tentacles stopped their nervous dancing. "You're suggesting there's a passage that our quantum mapping system failed to detect?" "Not failed," Marcus corrected, standing and dusting off his hands. "Your system is probably right about every measurement it took, but sometimes the most sophisticated tool isn't the right tool for the job." Commander Zexthak's translator struggled with the human idioms. "Explain." Marcus gestured toward the holographic display still flickering with incomprehensible data streams. "Your map knows everything about the quantum state of every particle in this canyon, but it doesn't know that the shadows at 1400 hours local time fall at a specific angle that reveals hidden passages. It doesn't know that the sound of wind through that gap creates a specific harmonic resonance. It doesn't know that the color variation in that rock face indicates a geological weakness, that ancient water carved into a tunnel." The aliens followed his gaze, and for the first time, they began to see the canyon not as a collection of quantum data points, but as a living landscape with a history written in stone and shadow. "Your map processes 17 billion variables," Marcus continued. "But they're all the wrong variables for this problem. Sometimes you don't need to measure particle spin states. Sometimes you need to notice which way the sand blows." 20 minutes later, they stood at the entrance to a narrow passage that Marcus's dirt map had indicated. The quantum navigation system had dismissed it as a minor geological anomaly, too insignificant to register as a traversable route. But the passage was there, wide enough for their team, and leading in the direction of the crashed survey vessel's last known position. As they prepared to enter the passage, Engineer Tolvar approached Marcus with something resembling humility in his crystalline features. "Lieutenant Chen, how did you learn to read landscapes this way?" Marcus smiled, another uniquely human expression that conveyed warmth despite its simplicity. 10,000 years of getting lost and finding our way home again. Before we had quantum processors, we had to notice things. We had to see patterns in clouds, read stories in rock formations, and trust our instincts when the logical choice felt wrong. Commander Zexthak stored away the holographic display and looked down at the simple dirt map Marcus had drawn. The crude lines and symbols contained more useful information than their trillion-credit navigation system had provided all day. "In the Coalition archives," the commander said slowly, "there are records of human explorers who navigated entire star systems using only mechanical instruments and mathematical calculations. We assumed this was evidence of primitive desperation." "Maybe it was," Marcus agreed. "But desperation teaches you to see what's actually there instead of what you think should be there." 3 hours later, their rescue mission succeeded. The survivors of the crashed survey vessel were found, treated, and evacuated. The official mission report credited advanced quantum navigation systems with the successful operation, but the rescue team knew better. Sometimes the most sophisticated technology in the galaxy couldn't compete with the finger-drawing patterns in the dirt. Guided by intuition, sharpened through millennia of wandering, wondering, and finding the way home,